So, a warm welcome, friends. It's me and Klaus, or rather, Klaus and I. We've gathered here on Zoom, and since we're both invested in the Luma protocol ourselves, we wanted to record this video for our friends, family, and acquaintances. We'll take a closer look at it, discuss updates, talk about the current status, and also explore future possibilities and what they might look like. We wanted to go through this with you so that you can get a closer look and understand the system a bit better, because some of you have asked me and Klaus a few questions. That's exactly why we're recording this video now, to make sure everyone is fully informed with clear information. So Klaus, I'd say go ahead and share your screen and let's go through everything together.
Let's get started. Let's first take a look at the current Luma chart. The whole protocol started on the 19th. Well, on the 20th, September at midnight, and here we can see that the price has developed very, very well. By now we're at 42 cents for 1 Luma. Just a quick note on the chart, we started at 0.005, but we couldn't buy Luma at that price. That's what's special about this particular contract model. We can only generate Luma through hash power or sell it, but unfortunately we can't buy Luma. Otherwise, of course, some of us would have bought in down here as well. Let's take a quick look at the whole protocol using a diagram to see how everything is set up. Some of you may have already seen this entire slide about the overall composition. Just to quickly recap, everything mainly runs through the NIVEX exchange. This is how we gain access to the Luma protocol, and the process is as follows. At NIVEX, we have to deposit UST. We buy Popcoin, which is its own blockchain, the Pop blockchain. Everything runs through that, and when we invest, 50% of our investment goes into a security pool. We can access that at any time. I can also show you the security pool here. If we go to the home page, which is now linked to the back office, we can see the insurance pool here. Currently, there are $9.1 million in it. Today is the 24th September. The whole thing only started 4 days ago. In the meantime, 18.2 million have already flowed in. 50% of the investment amounts end up here. So that's a quick overview of the pool. Then the other 50% also go into liquidity. We then swap POP to Luma and have the mining hash rate. Now regarding the hash rate, we'll get into that in a moment. So now let's go to hash power down here. And now we can see that dollars have been invested here as well. The entire investment started on September 20th. It began at 6 p.m. and now we'll just click on this field here. Now we can also see our pending Luma here, which you can claim from time to time. I'll show that again in a moment. So now here the dollars are working. With dollar, you get a 4 times return on your investment amount. And with under dollar, you can get up to 3 times your investment amount as the maximum payout through production. So a few Luma have already been generated here. With the equivalent value, we can also take a look right away. If we click on earnings at the bottom here, we can now see the total Luma produced, which already has an equivalent value of $1,050 in just 4 days. That's already just under or slightly over 10%. Of course, that's also because on the first day, production was a bit higher in Luma, since we generate 0.5% of our investment in dollars. In dollars, that means if today's price is, for example, 42 cents and we've invested a certain amount in dollars, we make $50 a day in Luma. So 50 divided by 0.42 means that today I generate 119 Luma coins, or rather tokens, since Luma is a token. So I can claim them here, and then they first end up in the yield aggregator. In the yield aggregator, we can simply store our coins temporarily. And here we receive a share of every payout that happens in the system. I'll go into more detail about that in a moment. If I now click on WDRA here, you can see there's a 10% fee, and I'll show you this fee again right here in the image, where it's broken down a bit more. Here is the innovative and efficient yield aggregator. We apply a reasonable 10% fee when we carefully withdraw our invested money to our main balance. Of this significant 10% fee, a substantial 50% flows directly back into the yield aggregator itself, where you are generously rewarded for diligently leaving your valuable coins there for continued growth. Then there are also nodes which receive another 40% of that, and there's also a community pool ranking if you build up a bit of a community. There's also a separate video about this where we can go into more detail. So then the Luma tokens ultimately end up securely in your very own digital wallet, and when you proceed to swap them, I will demonstrate that entire process for you in just a moment. When you swap them, let's briefly go back for a second. We'll perform a practical example here. Let's just take out exactly 100 Luma tokens for the purpose of this illustrative example. Now we'll go ahead and confirm here, and now it's confirmed. So now we have 100 fewer Luma in the vault, as you can see. You can claim this once a day or once a week, however you like. There's no time pressure. The engine hasn't really started yet. That's something to keep in mind. The engine will only really start performing and running properly in 1 to 2 months. If you assume, for example, that today you've generated 119 Luma with your investment, and let's say these 119 Luma are currently valued at $1 each, and that's where the price is heading sooner or later. We can also take another look at the community growth over the past few days. You can already see the dollar amounts that have flowed in. By this point in time, if you take a much closer and more detailed look at the underlying blockchain technology, you can clearly and distinctly see that there are already numerous wallets from various individuals and people directly linked to the innovative Luma protocol who have already successfully invested their valuable capital. And of course, their significant and substantial investments have undeniably contributed to this remarkable and impressive price increase. So, and if we look here now,
So maybe you can say again, as of now, how many people are there in total? So how many accounts have been registered in total?
Registered,
exactly.
Okay, registered, positioned themselves. You can see that nicely on the homepage. Wallets that have linked themselves to this entire back office by now, in these 4 days, have now deposited nearly, yes, wallets, of course, the first days. Today is the first day where it's completely without limitation. We can also just click on hash power here, because here you can see there's no timer running anymore. The people who have been here a few days longer know that there was a timer counting down here. Now we have no more limitation. We can join in at any time if we want. That was, of course, a bit annoying for some people who said, okay, I'll wait until everything is finished with the pre-launch phase and then I'll join when it's completely open and you don't have to keep tapping all the time. Exactly. So now let's briefly go to the topic of swapping. If I've now generated Luma and I just want to realize a bit and withdraw, I actually don't want to withdraw right now, but I'll just show you here in the video. Then we go here, enter as an example, because I don't want to use more than 10 Luma for the test here. Enter 10 Luma. So if you invest, why wouldn't you
take more than 10 now? That's the important point. Why don't you want to swap more than 10 Luma?
Look, today is only the 4th day that the whole system has been running, so people are just starting to get used to it and see how everything works. Okay, like here in this test, the swap works, everything is functioning, and more people are finding out about it. Logically, if you look at past protocols, I'd say 40 cents isn't really that much. It could well be that in the near future it rises to $1 or even $2. None of us has a crystal ball, but it really does look like it's going up every day. You just have to look at the chart here, it keeps climbing. We can also see all the orders here, and you always have the date and time with them. New investors are literally coming in every minute who want to benefit from the Luma protocol. Today is day 4, but still for the video I had some energy here, and I already did a test like this before, so some of the energy is already missing. When the energy is at 0, I've withdrawn my 4 times and can't withdraw anything more in dollars. But if I still have more Luma credit, then basically I just have to make a new investment in hash power, and then I can withdraw something here again, because then I'll have energy again. Is that clear so far with the energy?
Let me clarify again. So, to sum it up, the energy shows you how much you can withdraw. For example, let's take Klaus's account here. He deposited dollars, and starting from a certain investment amount, you have the possibility to withdraw up to 4 times that amount. That means you can earn 4 times as much. Here you can see, probably because of previous tests, it's gone down a bit and he was able to withdraw. You can usually see from the energy how much you have left. Because of the tests and everything else, a few dollars have gone out, and here you can see clearly how much more he can withdraw with this account. When that's used up, a lot of people have actually asked me, hey, what do I do then? Is it over? Should I just sit back and relax, or what happens next? It's very simple. When your initial investment amount is fully used up, meaning your energy is completely depleted and you can't earn anymore, and you've already exhausted all your available options, then you can always invest again at any given time. That means you can readily reinvest to effectively top up your energy. Exactly. For example, if you successfully turned $1 into $4 because of the 4 times multiplier, and now your energy is completely back to 0, then you can simply put in another dollar, or however much you personally want to invest. Of course, if you want to realize some of your hard-earned profits, you can certainly keep a bit for yourself and then put another suitable amount back in. Then you'll clearly see your energy gets refilled and you can continue to keep earning.
For example, let's say I have enough Luma here that it's worth $1. Then overnight, Luma suddenly goes up by 150%. That means my $1 would become $2.50 if it increases by 150%. I could only, for example, just to put it simply, I could only withdraw 40 now, so there would still be coins left. Then basically, I would just need to make another deposit, and then I could withdraw the rest, since I would have new energy again. I think that was probably understandable so far what I just
meant. That's precisely why Klaus was quite hesitant and didn't particularly want to swap more than just 10 Luma in the entire swap transaction, because those specific 10 Luma could actually be worth a significant amount, potentially $10 or even more, within a relatively short period of time, perhaps in just 1, 2, or even 3 weeks from now. That means what you earn today,
maybe not, but in any case,
what you earn today will be worth more tomorrow. And what you earn tomorrow will be worth even more the next day. And that's the big leverage we've been talking about. And that's the most important thing. That our investors, everyone who's invested with us now, or anyone watching this video from other structures, understands the leverage factor. With this leverage factor, you have such a huge opportunity to get the maximum out of this system. And that's what I think is so cool, not just for us, but for our customers, for our friends.
This morning, it was even less here. This morning we were at 980 here, and now it's already 1058, just because of a price increase. Of course, a bit more was added from the new production, but the price increase also gave us an extra boost. So it's also worth just letting the daily earnings sit here for a few days, and then you can cash out again whenever you want. But now let's quickly go over the process here. I'm swapping 10 Luma here, which requires 4.22 energy, because that's worth $4.22, and in return I get 2.69 pop in my wallet. Now I click on confirm here to approve the blockchain transaction. Here you can also see how much I actually have in the wallet right now, 1.16 pop. Now let's wait a moment. There we go, and now I'll refresh the page. Now we have 3.85 pop in the wallet. We get our Luma swapped to pop at a 1-to-1 rate. We only have that one-time 10% fee when we withdraw from the yield aggregator. With this swapping process, we don't pay any additional fees. But now, as I showed earlier in the background, 55% of the 10 Luma are being burned. They're no longer in circulation. The supply keeps getting reduced every time someone basically takes money out of the system from Luma. And 45% of the Luma, let's take another look at the graphic here. So 45% flows back, reflows, those 45% go back into the system, where through new hash power, someone else can basically earn and generate these Luma. And so with each cycle, the circulating amount of Luma gets less and less and less. And that's what's interesting about this system. If it gets proper attention, momentum, and volume, then after 3 or 4 cycles, the number of Luma is always lower. And accordingly, the price is much, much higher. And that's a very, very interesting aspect, which also ties into the topic of security, because we also have this safety pool here, where at any time, if I say tomorrow, I don't feel like it anymore, I could basically go ahead. If I look at earning right now, I could pay myself out the 1050 in Luma, and then go to hash power, where I see my investment, click the button, hit confirm. I'm not going to do that now. And basically, I would get 50% of my dollars back in pop, which I could send anywhere I want. So, in that sense, 50% of our investment is already completely secured, which immediately gave me a positive impression when I first heard about it.
Yeah, as of now, after 3 days, you're already at almost dollars. That's already 62% you are.
In principle, yes, you would want to cash out, right? When you see it like this. But as you can see here, it keeps steadily increasing. It's a cool project, a cool contract. Definitely something I haven't seen like this before. If you take a look here, you can also see the order with the 10 Luma, the sell order. So everything is completely transparent, just as you know it from the blockchain. And yeah, that was just a quick explanation of the whole thing. That's why the coins we earn today are best left untouched, because tomorrow they'll already be worth more money. That's why we make 0.5% in dollars, but we also get Luma as the equivalent value in dollars. And if Luma is 10 or 20% higher tomorrow, then the 0.5% from yesterday is already worth 0.6, 0.8, or even 1%. So that was just a brief summary of the project, the current status, and how we see its development at this moment.
And that's actually the interesting part. You really have the opportunity to let your money work for you. Here, you have the chance to invest money in a new technology, in the Luma protocol, and you truly have the possibility to earn money passively by doing nothing. Right after this, we're going to record another video, which is for sales, that is for referral marketing. You recommend it, you earn good money from the product yourself, you make good money from the product, and if you want to recommend it to your best friend, you get rewarded for it. It doesn't get any better than that, and then you just
also get a passive share, ultimately from the generation where someone you've referred also generates coins, but there will be a separate video about that. If you're interested in what possibilities there are, feel free to check that out as well. Until then, have a great day or evening, depending on when you're watching this video, and see you soon.